You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it lies a twisted realm of cinema. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of boundless possibility. You're moving into a land of genre-bending stories, where the unexpected thrives, and survival depends on more than just action. It demands ingenuity. Tonight, in the Buddy Expanse, we find ourselves locked in with two tales of human desperation. One, a chaotic plunge into horror and humor, when an unassuming film crew faces a reality of their own zombie apocalypse in One Cut of the Dead. The other, a descent into the heart of man-made monsters, where, in a forgotten bunker, the horrors of war give birth to unspeakable creatures, stitched together in Frankenstein's army. Two warehouses, two fights for survival, but only one outcome, whether it's art or madness that waits in the Buddy Expanse.
Oh my god, Mikey, look at that cut. It's just one cut. Probably done by one of those editor guys' girlfriends, but, you know, who understands these filmmakers? They usually use lots of cuts because they're afraid to let scenes play out in one take, okay? I mean, that cut, it's just so long. I can't believe it doesn't cut away. It's like out there. I mean, gross. Look, it's just so whack.
I like no cuts and I cannot lie. You other casters can't deny. Little films playing with 180 shot and it seems like it won't stop. You get sprung. You can't get enough because you notice that cut was stuffed. Zombies just keep on scaring. I'm hooked and I can't stop staring. Oh baby, I wanna get with ya. I wanna watch your pictures. My homeboys tried to warn me, but that cut you got makes me so Director Higurashi. You wanna make films with friends? Well, use me, cause this ain't no average movie. I've seen them acting. You're real sweltery acting. They make mistakes. Keep them going just to get your take. I'm tired of magazines saying more cuts are the thing. Take the average film fan, ask him that. I'm gonna give you flack. So fellas, yeah, it's your movie just one cut. Hell, watch it. Watch that healthy cut. One cut of the dead.
I'm scared.
You should be,
Yeah.
because it's October. The scariest month.
October 1st, to be exact.
Whoa.
This is Buddy Shotz 182.
The weather outside is frightful.
Oh shit! I gotta get scared. Get scared, bitch.
I gotta put on a coat because I'm so scared.
Stuck in a warehouse.
Lou Bega.
Yeah. No, number 5. Mambo number 9.95. Dun, dun. That'll probably
Write
be a
it down.
future one now that I said that, because I'm sure
Put it in the
you're
bank.
gonna be like supposed to be working instead. You're gonna be typing up a fucking.
That's my assignment. Starting right now.
Mambo number 9.5.
Little bit of Gloria in my life.
She's like, so this week we've got 2 movies.
For the price of fun?
Yes. Frankenstein's Army and One Cut of the Dead.
Whoa.
My Stuck in the Warehouse week, or I did find another connection here. This is, I guess, kind of like, well, I wrote it down, so we'll come to it eventually. It wasn't that good, I guess. So the poll this week, Frankenstein's Army was across the board, 100% no. But One Cut of the Dead, we did have a couple people on YouTube.
Nice.
44%. But 56% said no.
Which one do you want to start with?
I don't know. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Do you want to start?
Decision time.
Well, you want to start with Frankenstein's Army?
Sure.
Okay. You're like, fuck you. You just walk out.
It doesn't matter.
You stand up, flip the camera off, and just leave, and we never see you again on the Buddy Shotz podcast. So yeah, I guess
this was my pick.
Yes, yeah. So you go ahead and well, as we see here, you actually own this film, so
Yeah, Frankenstein's Army from 2013.
yes.
directed by Richard Raaphorst, starring
Richard Roundtree.
Karel Roden from Cracker
Yeah.
Jack 2, aka Hostage Train,
Yeah.
as Victor Frankenstein. So I saw this movie at
Way better in this.
Yeah. Well,
Actually
yeah.
having a part in this.
There was nothing,
Yeah.
barely anything good in Cracker Jack 2.
The end.
See our previous episode.
Right before this.
What are the odds?
Yeah. I don't know.
So I saw this movie at the Tribeca Film Festival back
Oh,
before
okay.
it
This
came
is
out.
the one you.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure which one it was going to be, but
Which was a cool experience. I liked the movie good enough to get it when it eventually came out on Blu-ray.
nice.
I think it's a fun little flick.
Yeah. What did you think about the special features? They seem to be.
Yeah,
rocking
there's like a making of, like, I think it's about half an hour long. It was pretty good.
Yeah, making of, and then the creature spots, and then
Yeah.
trailer.
So good stuff.
Better
Had
than
you
nothing.
had you heard of this before? Or
Yeah, I actually had this on a list at one
Oh,
point.
dude, nice.
Yeah, for us to watch, but
nice. That's cool.
yeah. So I was. Well, so how at least this worked this year was you. I think it kind of. This is how it normally works. You will randomly just send me a list of stuff you've already picked out, and then I just match.
Pair it.
Yeah. Maybe next year I'll have to get on it first. Maybe Gloria needs to pick next year.
She's like, don't stop petting me.
And so I picked. I was like, okay, well, what the hell can I pick? Put with this, and I was like, what else is he? I guess I was thinking at first maybe another Frankenstein film, and I was like, Frankenstein week. I don't know about that. I mean, it wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world, but then I was like, well, what do we do here? I mean, not like Stuck in Warehouse is better, but that's not even true, since in both these films they leave. And
So you researched warehouse films.
well, I actually was looking at other like just in general films for this week, and I just came across this, and it ended up being some of it's in a warehouse. So.
Yeah. And some other similarities.
Yeah, this is probably like the loosest week we've ever done for a podcast. Stuck
Loose
in a
week.
Warehouse. It's like, damn.
Stuck in
Gloria,
a warehouse
yeah,
with
pretty
you.
much. Gloria agrees. But we got two films. Let's talk about them. So, this first one's more of like a found footage movie, starring Russians. Starts with following Russians.
Yeah, during World War II.
Yeah.
I thought it was an interesting premise. Although I was distracted just by the technical aspects of it, which only a nerd like me would care.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that it's like in color and widescreen and high def, like, was clearly not period footage. Like, they didn't even try to fake it, which is fine.
They could have put a LUT over it, I guess, if they really
Yeah, they could have
wanted to.
processed it to make it look old.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, I guess they could have, like you said, they could have. Do you think that would have added to it?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Because
When I watched it, I didn't even think about that.
once I got over
honestly.
that, I'm fine. Like, I think it's cool that you can see the monsters better, and
It's funny because it's like it is a found footage.
isn't like a
but
serious
it's really
film.
not.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, but it's like it's mainly just this was footage.
Yeah.
It's pretty much like a first person movie, like from the cameraman's. I mean, I guess all movies are first person, but like it's from a perspective of a camera guy that is a like a character in the film, but like
Hey,
you don't. It's not something where like Willow Creek or like Blair Witch, where it's like you're led to believe something happened to these people and you never really find out what really happened to them, kind of thing. Like this is like, like you said, it's really not
It's just an excuse for some monster action.
right. So
It's almost more like a video game than a movie.
yeah, when I was watching it, I was like, this if this was like shorter, this like couple minutes, this could have been like a ride at like a Universal or Kings Island or something. Because there's definitely parts where they're literally running and then they'll turn and there'll be like a dude over here and then it's like a haunted house.
Jump scare.
Definitely, yeah.
Gloria
Gloria wants to talk about it this
down.
week.
That's enough.
She's got plenty to say on this. Did she watch it? Was she there with you when you watched it?
Yeah.
Was she watching the TV at all?
No. She's acting up because she hasn't had her walk in 2 days.
Oh, really? Because it's been raining?
She's got tons of energy. She's feisty right now.
Well, you know what? Maybe Gloria needs to give a review. What do you think, Gloria? What do you think about this movie, huh? You don't have anything to say about it, huh? Now that I asked you a question, she's like...
She froze up.
Yeah, she's like, oh, wait, you're on camera, Gloria.
Go lay down.
She's like, I'm on candid camera. So, like, they...
Should we, like, pause so I can put her away?
Yeah, that's fine. We can do that. If you want, it's up to you.
She'll stop eventually if we ignore her, but...
But I keep talking to her. So in this film, they come across, like, a skeleton, and it's weird because it's got, like, this electrical stuff on it. And that's what kind of sets off this being more than just, like, documenting war.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of, like, the first thing where it's like, okay, this is a little bit weird. It's funny because it's like, I guess we were talking about how it's like supposed to be a found footage, but it's closer to like something like Dog Soldiers, where like like, except for there's a camera man in it, but like it's like something happens where there's like an army platoon and then something kind of goes.
Soldiers versus monsters. Whoever wins, we lose.
Yeah.
But I just like the atmosphere of it. Like, this is a very Halloween-y movie. Like, you could... you know what I mean?
Weenie.
It's Halloween.
It's Halloween-y! We should have watched that. Frankenweenie. Yeah.
Another good one. Like, you could put it on in the background of a Halloween party.
Yeah.
It's just like monster action.
It's
and
so
creepy.
good, you don't even need to watch it.
Yeah, don't even need to pay attention to it. But there's not much to it other than like some cool monsters. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's literally like a roller coaster, and you're just...
I like your description of a ride.
Yeah, you're just literally at the mercy.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's... Yeah, I mean...
like, the characters could not be more stock. Like, you can't distinguish one person from another.
There's
like,
an asshole character. There's, like, a guy that takes charge after the guy that was in charge gets taken out. You know, there's a rookie, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
There was kind of, like, a thing in this. It was kind of a twist where they, like, the one dude that was, like, the kid that's, like, documenting this was, like, I'm actually, like, higher than all you guys. I'm, like, working for the government, like, a secret agent kind of thing, and he needs to, like, bring back Dr. Frankenstein to Russia to work for them and stuff. For his, they're interested in his research because he's been working for the Nazis the whole time.
Did you like it that it tied into the lore of Frankenstein? Because it was like, what, his grandson or something?
Yeah. He was talking about how, like, his grandfather had to use lightning, and now he can do all that stuff with generators and stuff. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Makes me. I was almost wondering. I was like, okay, so like, did he never deploy these things to like across like Hitler obviously wanted him to use these soldiers on the battlefield, but did that just never happen, I guess?
Yeah, I don't know. I got the feeling it was still in, like, experimental
Yeah, it was,
stage.
like, just starting or whatever. Like, things were pretty far along, but, like, just not enough for mass production to get a bunch of dudes out.
Plus, he is quite mad.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, things in this that it definitely reminded me of, like, the latest mainline Resident Evil game with all, like, the weird monsters that they had, like the propeller guy or whatever.
Yeah, it was a straight up ripoff.
Yeah, and I was like, wait a minute.
Or I'm sure they were inspired by this movie. Because it was exactly the same.
Yeah.
But still cool.
But there was a lot of, like, stuff from, like, that last guy or whatever that, like, had all those guys in his factory.
Yep.
I was like, oh, okay.
That was, like, the only thing that was in the IMDb trivia. Like, Resident Evil 8 ripped off this part of for the Heisenberg sequence or something. Or whatever that guy's name was.
Yeah, Heisenberg. I always thought it was weird in that game that, like, they decided of all things to name a character after one of the most, like, popular characters in recent memory. Like, couldn't you have named him after anybody else or make, it's like, come on. Because obviously people aren't going to be like, yeah, Heisenberg from Resident Evil, not Heisenberg from Breaking Bad. Yeah, there's a lot of like horrors of war stuff in this, which they don't shy away from. There's like burned nuns. There's a part where like they find a Nazi kid and a Nazi like older soldier, and the soldier like hugs the kid. You know, it's like even though they're like, you know, they're at war, it's like these are people and stuff. Obviously, like, you know, that kind of a thing. And the older dude gets killed at one point, and they lower this fucking kid down to see what's going on, and he gets fucking like
Halved.
Yeah, he gets fucked up, and I'm like, yeah, it's like doesn't matter if it's like they kill like animals, they like are whacking around like a rabbit at one point, and like all this other shit's going on, and I'm like, man, they don't like shy away from anything. So it was definitely like, if this didn't have monsters in it, you could be like, oh, this is like a horrors of war. I mean, it is still horrors of war, but it's also like, you know, takes like a fantastical, not to say that I'm sure that there were like fucked up experimental stuff going on during World War II. But yeah, it was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it. It was captured by this documentary.
This bullshit documentary. Driller Killer.
So what was your favorite monster?
I don't know. They were like, it's funny because I think like I liked the film, but I was also kind of like, I felt like things sometimes would happen so quick. You would see like a new monster for 5 seconds and then you would never see it again. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of almost like, you know, they had a ton of different monsters, which was legit, but it was also kind of like,
and some of them they repeated over and over again.
Yeah,
like they would just keep coming
some
back.
It would like, yeah, and it was like you know, like ones that hadn't been killed or something. Like there was the one guy that was like the super dude that like they couldn't fucking kill until they threw a grenade at him and stuff. But it was like, it was weird. Like there was one that when he turned like the boy into like almost like a character from a Studio Ghibli film. He was like a walking pot or whatever. I was like, that was. It was fucked up, but it was also probably the least gross thing in the movie because it was really just legs with a pot on it.
Yeah, with like socks pulled up.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, this is... And then they had like, I think it was like the medical lady that got turned into like this nurse or whatever. She was like a nurse robot, or not robot, but monster or whatever. Those are probably like the nicest looking ones. I don't know. I mean, they were all pretty legit. I you know, as far as like whoever was in charge of doing all this shit, it was like, holy crap, man! They went all out with all the monster effects and stuff.
Without it, like, there's nothing. This is a nothing movie.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is the whole reason to watch this film is like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite is the dude that has the Iron Maiden as a face, so he can like.
He can open it up so someone can shoot him and kill him.
But, like, what is the degree of difficulty for that guy to succeed? Like, to be able to sneak all the way up on someone's ear right next to him?
Yeah,
and
it's like a lot of the monsters were, like, made as experiments. So it's like, it didn't seem like a lot of them weren't made for being worth a shit on a battlefield. I think it was like, it seemed like, because when I saw that, I was like, what the fuck? What is the point of this? But it's like, it seems like they're varying degrees, like you said, of like, you know, at what point is this like, at what point do all these experiments, will start leading into actual refining, like, this is the Mark 1 of, like, the soldier and stuff. It's like he's kind of going, because it's like he's doing everything to see, you know, what'll work. I mean, I feel like if he could see through that, that would actually be a legit thing, because it, you know, they couldn't shoot through it. But yeah, it was like you said, the degree for a monster like that to succeed in anything is like, what? Yeah. I mean, it also, I mean, it's more so, it's like, the monsters in this they're not terribly like if there was one, you could just run away from it, because they're not terribly like out of control, but like, it's more so like, it's kind of like this movie, it's the quantity, not like the quality. Not like the monster effects are bad, I mean like the quality of the actual, like, how efficient they would be. So I was like, holy shit.
There's the two most memorable ones for me are the Mosquito Man on stilts.
Oh,
I found that to be pretty scary, actually.
Yeah.
And then
when he like is like above.
He like descends from the ceiling. I was like, whoa!
You see that in the background.
That's the coolest shot in the whole movie. But then the other one was like the woman whose head was on a teddy bear. That like disturbed me.
His mom or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I only found that out when I looked on IMDb.
Yeah.
It was like okay, well, why wasn't this actually talked about? I felt like that would have been a cool thing.
That was pretty disturbing, though.
It's funny that my favorite parts of this movie aren't even the monsters. It's when Victor Frankenstein is talking about shit.
Yeah, he's really good.
I was like, man, he was wasted in fucking Cracker Jack. like he's by far my favorite character in this entire movie, even over the monsters, because it's like he actually has a personality and has a reason. I mean, not like the other guys don't have a reason. There are certain things they pepper in, like you find out the reason the camera guy's doing what he's doing is because, like, I guess like pretty much like Stalin has his fucking family and shit in the government, so it's like, you know, do this and we'll set your family free.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the secret army or whatever got him. It's like, damn.
Yeah, that dude Karel Roden was like born to play Frankenstein.
Yeah,
it was like perfect casting.
He's like, I'm born. Victor Frankenstein was running around. He's like 9.95 gigawatts of power. Nothing you can do. It's like, what?
I was looking at his IMDb just to see if I'd seen him in other stuff, and Cracker Jack 2 was his first American film, and I was like, how did he not quit after that?
It's like Tig with excessive force, and it like bombed, and he was like, I'm in hell. Actually, I mean, I guess if you think about it, like Tig peaked in his career with Karate Kid 3, and then he like just went downward, sadly. But this isn't a Tig cast, sadly. But Frankenstein, early in the film, he shows up as like it's like he does reconnaissance or something to like lead them in, but like what if they just blew his head off? Like what the fuck was he thinking? Yeah. Like when you think about it, on further inspection, this ain't adding up here, because he comes out and he's like, come on, I'll show you where the Russians are, after they like torture him and cut off one of his fingers or whatever. And like he vanishes into the air, like fucking, he's like just disappears like Harry Houdini.
He's just there in the air.
Yeah, like Eminem said, he fucking vanished into thin air. Yeah, this was kind of like King's Island Halloween Haunt once that happened, because they go down this thing and
the
then all these people are just like, dude, they don't do that. They're like, they're actually scary. Actually, you know what? There are times when people are going like this with their arms, and I'm like, what are you doing? Attack! Like, I mean, there are definite times, too. Like, there's a part later on when the camera guy could have been so fucking killed, but, like, it's like, he gets away, and I'm like, come on. Like, and it's so obvious. Yeah, it's like the fucking dudes on a haunted hayride where they're just like, it's like, okay.
I thought the sets were very cool.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That was another high point in this movie for me.
Yes, they find, like, you know, that woman that we talked about that got... pretty much everybody in this film gets fucked over, but, like...
just like the real war.
That's true. On both sides.
It is hell.
Yeah. Women, men, children. I killed them all. But there was no sand in this film. What if the part where, like... she's like... They're like, help her. Or she's... Damn it. They're like, you know, to the lady, come on, you gotta help this guy or whatever. And she pulls that helmet off and his fucking brain comes out. And then the dude just starts beating her ass. And I'm like...
That was another highlight of the
These
movie
Russians are, like, just as bad as, like, the Nazis in this. I mean, they're fucking... There's a part where they go into a village that's literally just... They're not hurting anybody. And they go in and they pillage and beat the shit out of people. And... You know, you hear women screaming, so you can only assume the worst. And they leave drunk, and the camera guy's like, you fucking idiots. You know, like, he's pissed, because it's like... I guess on watching it again, you can be like... He's probably pissed because he's, like, above them, and he's thinking, like, you know, I could come out and say we shouldn't do this, but he's also like, you know, we're going to blow our fucking cover or something. It was just, like, the way that they're acting is ridiculous.
Yeah.
War as hell, and they've become what they hate. Like a pig cop.
What'd you think about, like, this movie is very loud and
Yeah.
possibly annoying because it's like nonstop screaming and like monster sounds.
Yeah.
What did you think about that? Did that bother you? Because it kind of bothers me a little bit.
I mean,
it's just like aggressively.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a
haunted house.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess that's the point.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you once you kind of know what you're getting into, it's like. Yeah, I mean, it's literally just like a haunted house or a ride, so, like, you're kind of on it. There are definitely respites from
I'm
that.
like, stop screaming on this roller coaster! Pipe down!
Shut the fuck up!
Quiet!
Silence! You're like a librarian, like, in the front, facing everyone else, like, shh. You have a desk on the front, and you're like, shut the fuck up. It's like, fuck you! I could definitely see that. Like, I mean...
Especially when I saw it in the theater, it was so loud. I was like, kill me. Like, it hurt.
It also depends on the day that you... Like, the time and day you watch something. Mm-hmm. If you are... Because sometimes I can take, like, a lot of fucking bullshit, and sometimes the smallest thing will fucking piss me off. Like, annoy me or whatever.
That's true.
So, I think I watched this at a good time. So I wasn't, like... pissed or anything when that happened. Like, I didn't even really think about it till you brought it up. But having said that, like, the audio levels in this are fucking all over the place. Sometimes it's like when Dr. Frankenstein's in his, like, you know, factory and all these monsters are fucking making all this noise and they're trying to record this shit. I'd be like, dude, everybody shut the fuck up. I'm trying to do something here, because he, like, controls them. But it's like they're all in the background, like, like, dude, STFU.
5, 4,
yeah,
5.
They're like, it's like, stop. Yeah, I guess it didn't really bother me, but I could definitely see how watching this, you could get to a point where you would be like, okay, what the fuck.
Mm-hmm. I think, like, I noticed that, like, when there's a lot of screaming in movies, it gets on my nerves. Like, Aliens, that little girl is, like, always screaming.
Newt.
So, Newt. Yeah. I'm like, pipe down, Newt.
Where's Gingrich at?
But, again,
like,
it's a me problem.
And I'm like,
We got Goku over here doing 50-second screams.
Hell yeah, dude. The man with the plan. Those motherfuckers can't hold a candle to that guy that passed the fuck out in the booth one time. I was like, holy shit. That's dedication for the money. Speaking of which, still alive Nazi screaming for his life. I'm like, shut the fuck up! He's being taken away, and then he's like, 9, yeah. And I was like, okay, dude. Ham it the fuck up, brother. Go for it. This is your moment. I will have to say Frankenstein's a big DX fan, like Kiefer and Donald, because
Dude.
there's he finds 2 monsters and one of them's like deactivated like that. He's like, maybe that's Kiefer and Donald in this movie.
They've been spliced together.
Yeah. Frankenstein has soup fed to the one dude, and I'm guessing that was like fucking gross shit because he didn't want to eat it. And Frankenstein didn't eat it, so
it did look warm because it was steaming.
Well, yeah, steaming, beaming soup. Yeah, Frankenstein, he gets all the best lines in this film because there's really not anything else to say about the other guys. They're literally just like, not saying shit. My father said men will be more efficient if they have hammers and screwdrivers instead of fingers. And I was like, oh. Yeah, his
oddly specific.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, doubt, L.A. Noire style. I'm like, you're lying, Morgan. Yeah,
my dad always said having an army of freaks is better.
Right. He's like, my father always said, working for Hitler and making monsters is better than not. What? That's super specific. But yeah, this is when he kind of gives his whole life story and stuff. And this is when I was just like, damn it, there's only a little bit left in this film. Because
Short and
this
sweet,
is the
dude.
best part of the fucking movie. But he talks about how, like, they're so early on in this that, like, they cannot... It's like he couldn't put them on the battlefield, really, because they would literally just shit their pants. Like they, you know, like they're puppets that he still has to, like, feed and stuff, because...
And none of them have ranged weapons,
right.
so they'd immediately be shot and
right.
killed.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of... A lot of them get fucked up, because, like, I mean, they have grenades. It's like, okay, you better build one of these motherfuckers into a tank or something, because otherwise it's like...
It's got no chance.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you think that, like, there's issues with guns. Wait till, like, a couple of these dudes get on the battlefield and then there's a tank. They probably could just run them over.
The Iron Maiden dude's like...
Yeah. He's like, come on!
Yeah. Put your head right here.
Yeah. The Iron Maiden guy's like, come on. Frankenstein took a chance on me, like my mama. Like, what? Like, why the fuck would you... Yeah. It's like, maybe it runs up to the tank, crimps the little fucking...
The cannon.
Yeah, the cannon, and it backfires and blows him up, and he's like... The one dude is still alive from earlier. Like, I guess he captures these dudes, and he has, like, the leader guy. And they do the two brain, where they, like, put half a brain into this guy, like the Nazi brain into the communist brain.
The perfect weapon.
That was legit.
That was funny.
He's like, I want him to... It's funny because, like, he's funded by the Nazis, but he's like, the Nazis, the communists, like, you know, Americans, everybody's a fucking idiot because, you know, because of their political views. Like, he essentially is, like, creating, like, the Borg, and he wants... Because, like, he's insane, but he has, like, one idea that's actually, like, good, where it's, like, the issues that tear the world apart are political views and stuff like that, where it's like, if everybody just kind of, like, saw from each other's viewpoint, you know, there would be less issues, because, like, he doesn't give a shit about the war, really. He's just kind of, like, doing his thing and trying to get... But he is insane, so...
In an insane world, the sane man is king.
That's true.
Too bad he's not sane,
Right.
so it doesn't make any
right.
sense.
I agreed. That was wrong. It's like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result, and I'm like, well, here he's doing, like, different things and expecting the same result, so maybe it works, Yoda style.
He's not a perfect person.
It's like, no shit.
Understatement of the
Yeah,
year.
he's like, begun the Clone Wars have. It's like, why didn't he just say the Clone Wars have just started? It's like, hey, maybe Yoda was like a Frankenstein. He was insane.
You're on an episode 2 kick. Keep
What
it
if
going.
they found, like, finally they found Yoda's race and he was the only one that spoke like that? I'd be like,
They, like, slap him on the back of the head. Stop that!
He's like,
Does Yaddle talk like that?
I don't remember, honestly. Sadly, I'm pretty sure in the comics, if they have her, I'm sure they've done that. So it's like, okay. So,
Yoda, the Book of Yaddle.
Yaddle, the Rise of Yoda's Butler.
Why doesn't Yaddle have his own show? Is it a man or a
It's
woman?
a woman, I'm pretty sure. She has a bunch of fucking red hair for no fucking reason.
8 episodes on Disney Plus.
So
Yaddle.
Yoda's like a bald billionaire. And fucking Yaddle has, like, red locks for no reason. It's like, so do the women have, like, hair and the men are, like, bald when they're born or some shit? I don't get it.
Do a deep dive on Yaddle.
Yeah. George Lucas is like, we never decided what they're fucking called. I'm like, okay. Why'd you make Yaddle then? Like, oops. So, this is the saddest part of the film for me. The bastard Sasse shoots and then cuts off Frankenstein's head. And he becomes a hero in the quickest wrap-up to a film I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yep.
It's like, cuts off the head, runs away. The next scene is like, he's photoshopped onto a poster with fucking Stalin. And Stalin's like, so it's
a cool image.
He's become like a hero,
Mm-hmm.
but not a fan of the ending. Frankenstein should have got away.
Yeah, there should have been a sequel.
His plan, or his plane. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't have much. I mean, there's not much to say on this movie. It's got some cool monsters. Check it out.
Only 30-something minutes worth.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think it's worth seeing for sure.
Yeah.
It's. And you can tell it's ultra low budget,
Yeah.
but they got the most out of it.
I guess with the monster, I should try the monster in honor of this.
I've had them before.
It's got a pungent stench.
Yeah, I'll warn you.
Pickled onion.
When you first bite into it, it's going to be weird, but it might grow on you.
It's like chewing a fucking gym sock. Or is it? That's not bad.
I kind of like them.
I don't know if I would eat like 100 bags of them like Steve-O.
Or fly to England
But
just
then
to get a
again,
bag.
he's used to eating puke.
Yeah.
Maybe he's like, oh.
They kind of taste like puke.
Okay,
Kind of
I kind of like them. And then
acidy.
you were like, yeah, the acidity. That's why I said that, because of the acidity part. Miniature monsters with big crispy heads or crunchy claws plucked straight from pickled onion beasts. Fuck off. Pickled onion beasts. You want some more?
No. If I was out at the pub and I had a bunch of pints, I'd probably like it more.
Give me more pints right fucking now, mini me. Yeah, this is a movie
weird.
that's like you don't really... I mean, we talked about it, obviously. I mean, I wasn't just going to be like, yeah, I saw it. I don't got nothing to say. But
yeah,
like,
I wanted you to see it just as a horror movie fan.
Right.
It's a good one,
yeah.
but it's by no means great.
It's also like, yeah. Personally, I think like the ending was just kind of like whatever for me. But like, it was more of like it's more about the journey than the destination in this film for sure.
True.
So,
Wise words.
you know what that kind of tastes like? It kind of tastes like Burger King, like onion rings and stuff like that.
I can see that.
Yeah, like in effect, I do.
It's like if you took onion rings and drenched them in vinegar.
Because it's
appetizing.
pickled onions. Such an interesting and weird flavor. If you're British or from England, you got to tell us what the fuck were they thinking with this. Not that I hate them, but
It's no Twiglets. Remember when we tried those and you
those
hated
are
them?
fucking gross. Those are actually legit.
Yeah, I don't mind those at all.
Yeah.
They're just kind of
The
weird.
Twiglets, I think, like you would have to have like 10 bags to be like, oh, this is my new favorite thing. Gloria's gonna like hang her
10 bags full.
Just like Little Bo Peep. Give me that fucking wolf.
What should we rate Frankenstein's Army and move on?
Did you say should we?
Yeah.
Or what? I thought you said what should we? I was like, I guess we're gonna
What should we
together
rate it?
decide.
Like 3, 2, 1. 7.95. For me,
Nice.
it passes the test.
It's better than some.
But watch yourself, counselor.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's. Yeah. I mean, I didn't dislike it. I just really was not a fan of Frankenstein getting killed in this film. Probably like a 7.95
All right.
or 6.95. I don't know. It's okay. Like most of the film is awesome. I just don't like to see a good man go down. He's
No
like,
better man than Frankenstein.
don't let the sun go down on me. Boom! Ah!
That should have been the open or the ending credits. Song.
Yeah, he gets fucking his head cut off. I'm like, oh.
How could this happen to me?
But yeah. I didn't make my escape. Got no one to blame but myself. Okay. So I guess let's move on to the second film in this Warehouse of the Dead week. Our second warehouse.
One cut of the dead. Your pick.
Week. Yeah. I agree, it was. So, yeah, I'm glad I picked this film. I liked it. Be in. See ya.
All right. Bye.
Go ahead.
I have more thoughts on this one.
Oh, yeah, I do too. That's why I wanted to do this one second.
There's a lot more to it.
This one's actually, like, you could definitely watch Frankenstein's Army, like, again and stuff, but I feel like One Cut of the Dead is one that, like, the more you watch it, the better it gets.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely stuff in this that I've rarely seen in other films. In fact, I can't think of one film that I've seen where kind of like this happens.
Yeah. It's unique.
It's more than, what you think. After watching this film, I actually went online and there's a lot of like people that are like, I stopped watching this movie because it was so fucking boring. And I was like,
you failed.
Yeah. Which
I have thoughts on that.
I mean, I even disagree with that, but
we'll get to it.
Yeah. Right now.
When this movie came out, the hype was like huge. Do you remember that at all? Or like it had people were saying like this is one of the best horror movies ever made.
I don't remember even hearing about this until like maybe the last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like so pumped to see it because I heard like nothing but like amazing things about it. And I was disappointed the first time I watched it. But it's been years now, so it was interesting to reappraise.
Go back or whatever.
Knowing what it is.
You know what's funny is like also like I guess they made like another one where it's like it has like international stars, so, like probably people from US and all over the world, but like I didn't watch that because I was like not in addition to this or whatever. It's like One Cut of the Dead Hollywood or something. It's like a semi kind of like Evil Dead 2, like a remake or something. But yeah, I just really watched it this week and stuff, and there is kind of like a special edition of this that has like has some stuff on it. At first I was kind of disappointed, but then I was like, well, I mean, I guess unless you had someone that was like a Mike Leader doing commentary, like, they have the people from the movie do it, and it's like they're doing it in Japanese, there'd have to be subtitles or something, and I'd be like, But it's like the special edition has like the movie One Cut of the Dead and Hollywood spin-off movie that's like shorter. It's like 57 minutes. And then a making of, a director interview, raw One Cut of the Dead GoPro footage. That's 38 minutes. One Cut of the Dead outtakes. I like how this is a feature. Reversible sleeve with artwork from both movies. And then like an instructional video on how to do self-defense.
That's funny.
So, yeah. So, yeah. I was like, did you have like a favorite person in this at all?
To me, it's got to be the director Higurashi, played by Takayuki Hamatsu.
Yeah, that was my first note.
Especially his performance in the actual movie was so funny.
Well, I thought his...
I mean, in the zombie film, as the director, was cracking me up every time.
I feel like it's okay in the film, but like once you see his behind the scenes life, it gets to be like really good because he's an actual like he's an actor in that, because like he's going all out in the film, but like then when you see kind of his actual life and stuff, he's so subtle and stuff, but then he takes all of his like frustrations out, which I guess that's kind of a spoiler, but I mean
he's like Mark Borchardt.
So the first little bit of my notes here were about the actual like the
film within a film.
The film that they're... Because this... I mean, this is a spoiler, but yeah, like, this is... You first, when you're watching this, you think that this is... people making a zombie film when an actual zombie outbreak happens. But then you find out that this is actually a live production that they're putting on, like a play, essentially, for a new zombie channel that's like in Japan that's being like made, and it kind of reminds me of like like everything goes wrong, the play or whatever, where like stuff just, stuff is barely being held together by a string, and you kind of see all the why things are a little weird in the first bit. Like there are parts where like people just kind of look at each other and don't say anything. There are weird pauses, like a play. I mean, it's funny because I mean it is a movie, but like the first part is essentially like a play, which I was like, whoa, this is pretty cool. Like more so than most movies I've seen, where it's like, it just felt like, there are actors that have their spots, since it's all like, the one kind of deal. And yeah, I was pretty much like, shocked and stuff, like, because once they kind of say like, okay, well that was actually all an act, I was like, that's when I was like, holy shit, what the fuck, what's going on here?
I love that.
Yeah. But I guess go ahead and talk a little bit about like the movie where they, there's an urban legend that says that like if you put blood on the roof, like it brings like people back from the dead or whatever. It was like an experiment run by the government. Which at first when I was watching this, I was like, oh man, I should have called this Experiment or Resurrect the Dead Week. But then it's like, I don't know, maybe that's not really even true, because that didn't happen in this. Because I mean, at the end
it's really found footage week. I mean, that's the biggest similarity. But I mean, like kind of, warehouse.
I do too. Because found footage, I mean, the first one is kind of that, but the second one's more so like, they're both of their own, but they both have warehouses. So, so people, things happen. They have a nerd character. He gets attacked. People get like, essentially it's like a couple people running from zombies all over the place. It's very much like, kind of like the first one, where it's like a haunted house where you're going along for the ride, and this woman's running all over the place and being attacked by zombies and her own mates and stuff like that. And a zombie attacks a guy, and the guy goes, "What does he want?" And I was like, "What?" That was one of the first time when I was just like, "What's going on here?" Like, because there are parts too where they just kind of like, there's a part where they ask the same question. She's like, "Is he okay? Yeah. Are you okay? Yeah. Are you okay?" And I was like, what the fuck's going on here? And I think I could totally see, if you're watching this for the first time, being like, what the fuck is this? Like, is this how it's going to be the whole time? Because it borders on something like Children of the Living Dead. It's better than that because it's an actual film and they don't go the whole thing, and but there's definitely a part later on in the first part where like she's screaming because you find out why later, and it's bordering on like freaking Frankenstein's army, where you're like, shut the fuck up, because she's like, yeah. There's a part where she says don't come, and it reminded me of House of the Dead 2 in the English Dreamcast version, where this girl goes, don't come, and I was always like, what? Really?
Come here, pup. Come on.
And there's other parts where like the director's assistant, she essentially like, she turns like psycho at one point, and when you're watching this you go, what the fuck is going on here? Like, why is this person now like, out of control? Just stuff starts to not kind of add up, but you're also watching it like, well, maybe this is just how it is or whatever. And then after pretty much the 35-minute mark and the movie ends, they cut to like a month before, and it becomes like a drama comedy kind of thing, and shows pretty much what happens. Like how this all came about from the director. The person the whole time, like you said, when you've been watching this film, he seems like the biggest asshole. He's a total dick. He's like screaming at people. He's like, we've had 42 fucking cuts and you're fucking, you can't even, the reason why you can't do this is because, you have a fake fucking life and you're not real. And like he yells at all these people, and like when they actually show him, he's a nice guy, but when they do the actual scene, he goes off script because he's sick of the, he hates these people that they've cast, and he's taking it out on them. There's this, like, the guy that's pretty, like, meek or whatever, that's, like, playing the zombie, that's, like, the girlfriend's, like, boyfriend or whatever, or, like, the girl's, like, the farmer's daughter's husband, ends up, you see off camera, he's like an idol or whatever, and he's all like full of himself.
Yeah.
And the guy takes it out of all of him, and he's like whooping his ass, and it's like, what the fuck, you piece of shit, you want to lecture me? And it's like, why is he acting like this? Like, like you said, it's funny, but it's almost like, what's going on here? And it's just, there's so many layers where you find out, oh my gosh, he's had enough of this fucking shit. Yeah. And he just snaps, and then when he goes off camera, he's like, what was going off script? And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry about that, like, I just got into it. Because the whole thing is, like, they originally had, like, a different, like, person for both the, like, the director character and, like, the assistant character. And they both got into, like, a car wreck or something because they were taking the same car. And his wife ends up
they had
playing
some
that part.
explaining to do.
Yeah. She ends up taking that part, and he ends up playing the director as the director, and he knows all the lines, obviously, and he ends up being like a natural. But like, he didn't want his wife to play that part because she quit acting because she was like banned from sets because she became too involved in the fucking shit. And like,
got too into the character.
She broke a dude's arm at one point, like in one of the, and I was like, dude. And then you think, oh crap, is she actually gonna kill somebody because they have like an axe on set at one point? And I'm like, But yeah, there's just, I feel like I've been talking a lot. I don't know if you wanna.
No, like you said, there's no movie like this.
Yeah.
And I really admire like what they did.
Yeah.
It's so clever.
Yeah, because it could have been like the first 30-something minutes, it could have just been like a, whatever, like a kind of short film, zombie film or whatever, but them adding all this stuff in at the end of like,
That's
like
what makes it special.
About. Right, exactly, yeah.
So, but I'll get it out of the way.
Yeah, go ahead.
The first 37 minutes of this is one of the worst movies, like it's unwatchable. Like, it doesn't make it not terrible. You know what I mean? Like, we've made better movies. It's
I don't know. I think
shitty.
it's okay. It's not horrible. I've seen worse films on the podcast.
It's really bad, and that's the fatal flaw for this movie. Is like, to get to the good stuff, you have to suffer through 37 minutes of like an incompetent film. And I get that that's kind of the point.
Yeah,
but it doesn't make it like entertaining.
I don't think it's as bad as you think it is at all.
Maybe since I've seen it twice,
yeah,
and I kind of knew what the gimmick was, it worked even less for me. But
I think it would work more.
Well, maybe if you watch it again, you'll suffer through the first 37 minutes of this movie to get to the real stuff.
I mean, I didn't
like
think
it didn't need to be
bad.
that long either. Like 10 minutes would have been good. Would have got the point across.
I could see that, but like, I mean, and I guess it's not to compare to other things, but we've seen other films, I feel like, on this podcast that are way more annoying and more incompetent, which
I didn't say that it wasn't. I think it's pretty crappy. I think we made movies that are like that quality, and it's not great. But that's the whole point of the movie, and I get that.
Yeah.
So that's my big criticism
of the whole film. Or
yeah,
whatever.
And I would understand walkouts, but if you walk out, you miss like the whole point of this movie.
I mean, from that perspective, I could totally see, like, I guess people being like, there are people online that were like, I turned it off and stuff, but I'm like,
you missed out.
In the genre of horror, like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of times there is like, you're kind of in this shithole fucking realm. Sadly, I mean, like, we were just talking about Children of the Living Dead, where it's just like, that movie has funny parts to it, but it doesn't make up, like, there's really no redeeming qualities to that. But this movie, at least, like, once you see, like, what led up to that, it's like a movie that has, like, a not so great start, but, like, a great ending, whereas, like, a lot of movies have, like, a great start, but, like, a shit ending. Not a lot of movies, but some movies.
Yeah.
And I'd rather have, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'd rather have nothing like that in the film, but to me, like, nothing pisses me off more than a fucking horrible ending. But it's also, like, you have to have, like, I understand you gotta have, like, a hook to get people into it and stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't know.
I could see if this was, like, maybe, like, any other genre, but, like, horror is, like, the one genre I feel like I've seen more shitty fucking movies in my life of.
And zombie movies.
Right, so it's, like, if you're gonna get into something like this, I feel like you kind of know what you're getting into, sadly. Not like it excuses it, but, like, I saw, like, that on a horror thread where somebody was like, yo, I stopped watching, and I'm like, dude, if you watched a fuck ton of these movies,
dude,
like, good God.
So Roger Ebert didn't review this movie because he was dead, but the person who reviewed it for his site said that they walked out the first time they saw it.
I know it's not funny, but the way that you said that, Roger Ebert didn't review this because he was dead.
But he admitted...
Who's the guy that, like, took over, like,
Well, he has, like, a whole staff.
Oh,
like,
okay,
a
yeah.
whole
It's kind of like Ain't It Cool or something back in the day.
But I forget who the
But,
writer
like,
was.
he, like, left or whatever.
He admitted the first time he saw this at a film festival, he walked out, and then he regretted it later. But still didn't give it a great review. But, I mean, like I said, I still really like this movie, and I think it's worth watching for sure. But it has a fatal flaw.
Is this a twist off? Let's find out.
Just keep a bottle opener down here.
I don't know, maybe you can try it? I've done that before where I've tried to do a twist off and it's not worked, but I could be wrong. I loosened it for you, I guess, right? We'll say that. It's the second time that's fucking happened. Oh. Nice music.
Nice sample.
So what does it say on there, Matt?
Brainwash carbonated drink. Helps relieve extreme mental overload. It'll just have like a bunch of caffeine in it.
Does it say...
Gets rid of all the garbage they've been dumping in your mind.
Should have drank this.
We want you for life.
The Cracker Jack too.
This may be your only way out.
Jesus!
Some serious marketing.
Kurt Cobain should have drank that.
Caution, may cause special effects.
What?
We cut out all the bullshit in life and went straight for the brain.
This bullshit.
Injected into the bottle by real soda and real bottles. Okay.
Wait, what?
Oh, injected into the bottle by real soda and real bottles limited.
Injected into the bottle by real bottles.
Realsoda.com.
Are you talking about that shit was fucking injected by real bottles?
Oh
cheers. My God.
Woo!
What the fuck is this?
That's a lot.
What is that? It's like a sour. It's just a sour flavor.
Too much
Your
sour.
favorite, again.
It's not horrible. It's just a hint,
it's weird.
hint
It
of
smells
sour.
like fucking medicine or something.
Yeah, it's medicine-y.
What the fuck?
I'd like it if they removed the sour portion. Then it'd just be blue drink.
Yeah, like I'd like it if it was water. I honestly,
I'd
God,
like
my
it if it
throat's
doesn't
like
exist.
fuck you. Good God, man, that's fucking spicy.
Yeah, it's intense.
It's kind of like if you mix that one sour drink we had with like that ginger, like the one that like burned my throat.
Yeah.
You're like, but not mine. It's like, huh? But
worth a try.
yeah. Yeah, some of the stuff that they talk about in this is like, or show in this is, you know, his family life with his daughter wanting to be like him, but like being kind of the opposite of him, where she's like on camera he's out of control, but behind camera he's like, you know,
a mild-mannered family man.
And then like he's kind of walked over by his wife, and it's like, you know, they don't treat him like shit, but like there's a part where like they're watching something that he filmed for TV. Because his motto is like fast, cheap, good quality. It's like, that was like the worst tasting thing ever. Because it was like that nasty onion barf flavor mixed with the medicine.
The perfect combo.
I'm like, turn it up. It's like bad medicine. I'm like, that's like poison. It's like bad poison. More effective or less effective? You know what I mean? Anyway.
Gotta keep going back for more.
Yeah. Feed that shit to a... I'm like, give me a fucking dream. Get out of here with the Windows Update, bitch. So, but yeah, like his daughter wants to get into this stuff, and, you know, she is likes this idol that's like plays the kid on the in the movie they're making. And they're watching something that he made for TV, and she's like, "Can I switch this?" And he doesn't say anything, and the wife's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Okay." Like he's push watching. Over. Yeah, right. There's a part where he's fucking in the dark, crying and drinking, and looking at pictures of him and his daughter when she was younger. Like, you know, she used to, you know, essentially like idolize me. So we got a couple characters here that end up kind of like shows why, you know, things happen, why they happen. There's a guy that's like, I can only drink hard water. Or this is hard water, I only drink soft water to avoid diarrhea. I mentioned it by email. That guy ends up having like diarrhea at one point. Like he's shitting and they have to fucking put makeup on him. It's like, the fucking sound is like, and I'm like, it's like, fart sound.
It was graphic.
12. And he's like crying.
It's coming out.
Yeah.
What?
Shit. And I'm like, it's coming out.
Basically the last guy you'd want on your crew.
Right. Besides the other guy, the last guy that fucking is like, I drank so much sake that I lost my daughter. And he's like, ugh. And I'm like,
in a really funny movie, like, it's a truly sad character. Like,
yeah.
He's a dangerous alcoholic.
He's like, yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, he's like
if
an
they pushed
alcoholic.
it way, way hard.
Yeah. Also, there's a part where, like, there's a baby that, like, she's not gonna cry, and then the next scene he's crying, but, like, he turns from, like, an eye-bulging alien to, like, a cute, baby. And I'm like, I almost said a cute alien. Is that a freaking human being?
You were like, shut that baby up!
I'm like, somebody shut that baby up. And I'm like pointing to myself. I'm like, agree with me or fuck you. But the daughter is pushing the mom to get back into acting, and then she kind of goes fucking off the rails when she gets into the film. It's like, you know, this guy says, is there a toilet in the old building? She says, we'll bring mobile toilets. Don't forget and tell me where they are. I was like, Jesus. Like, this is the kind of stuff that was like, definitely makes it for me, for sure. I mean, I think it would make it's not like anybody would watch the first part and be like, that's the best part.
Yeah.
But, like, this is the kind of, seeing not only this, but the behind the scenes is, like, ties it all together, and it, like, it's also kind of nice to watch a film where it's, like, horror, but there's, like, no risk as well in the film.
Yeah.
Like, you almost never have that where, like...
Yeah, the stakes are they going to be able to complete the movie?
Right.
But also, it's kind of like Back to the Future, too. Like, you get to see what's going on.
Yes, like, in behind
from a different angle.
Yeah, exactly. I always loved that.
Me too.
You never saw your mother act. I'll have to apologize. Like, that's the one thing he doesn't want to do, is, like, have to apologize, even though he's been, like, kissing ass the whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like as it's starting, one dude is already like, I gotta take a shit because he accidentally drank the hard water bottle. And then the other
guy,
dude is sneaking
did he
the
contribute
drink.
anything to the movie or just like make problems? Like, he
I think
sucked.
like him and the guy drinking both
I'd be
were
like, "You're fired."
literally like zombies. They were like
when they weren't supposed to be.
right.
But that is a funny moment when the drunk guy is like,
Yeah,
and you see the
he's holding him
director's
up. Yeah.
That's probably my favorite part of the whole movie.
Also,
In the
like,
trivia, it said that guy was drunk in real life, which I don't know if I believe that or not.
yeah, I don't.
Trivia's full of horse shit.
Also, it's like I wouldn't put it past people watching a movie like this to believe that shit because it's like, you know,
Yeah.
you said people walked out 30-minute mark or something. Love all the behind the scenes stuff, like a fake arm being used for like the nerd guy. Like, it's nice to see that, like,
Or even when they hold up a sign like "stall for
Yeah.
time," and it's like, "Do you have any hobbies?"
yeah, but it's not. It's nice to see that, like, stuff earlier. You're like, well, how the fuck is this? Because
Every weird thing that happens gets paid off.
But like once you like, so in the beginning they see all this stuff happen. The guy's arm gets cut off, a guy's head gets cut off. I'm like, you know, and then once they like switch to this is fake, you go, shit, how the fuck is this gonna? Because there's that thing in the back of your mind, at least for me, where I was like, did these people actually get fucking killed? Because the director at one point says, stop killing my actors, to like the actress, and then she chases him and kills him off screen.
Yeah.
But once I first saw that thing with like the fake arm, I was like, oh, okay. But there was still that thought in the back of my mind where it was like, did his wife actually kill someone? Because she had like an axe at one point, and they're like, she gets really into her role, and it's like, thank God it wasn't that much, but it was like, Jesus. But there is a part where like she runs after them, like, and the crew are like fucking like running for their lives. Like the actors are supposed to like say something else, but instead they're like scared because she has the axe, and she's like, I'm calm, and I'm like, Jesus. One of the crew, like I think it's the backup to the director, or like the guy that is doing the camera, that like once he gets hit and the camera falls down, and he like his back goes out, he's like, oh, like he's laying on the ground, like, she takes like one of the best falls I've ever seen in cinema. Where
I
she
think
literally
that was
goes,
real, dude.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, this was like
Because her
fucking
head
something.
like bounced off the
Yeah, I was like,
floor.
this was like something that we would have had in like our movies or something, where somebody literally just bites it or whatever. But she just kept going, and I was like, Jesus.
Trooper. I mean, that's what's great about this movie is
I feel like some of that just went up my nose somehow.
it's
Sorry.
about how hard it is to make a movie and how
Yeah.
everyone has to collaborate.
Yeah, I think that's why I was so like, holy shit, this is awesome, because you not only get to see that, but you see all these people that are kind of like, not all of them, but like, they were kind of like at odds and stuff. There's like the idol guy that was kind of like an asshole, and then towards the end, he's like kind of, they all form this pyramid to like get the final shot.
That's actually like an emotional moment.
Yeah,
I mean, like
that's
it's kind
probably-
of the metaphor
yeah.
for the whole movie,
Right.
visually, and it's great.
Yeah, I was like tearing up almost. I
Yeah,
was
that's
like,
awesome.
holy shit. The director fucking John Cena's the fucking his wife, and like chokes her out fucking from behind. He like fucking STF user. I was like, Jesus.
He pulls a Hulk Hogan on Richard Belzer, like drop him like a sack
She's
of
like-
potato.
God, that's still so fucked up. He's like,
He like becomes a human accordion and drops to the ground.
his head's like, and he's just like, that's what happened. I'm like, dude, why would you just like go with somebody like? Well, I know why, because he was talking shit. But that's no reason to fucking
He's like,
assault somebody. Yeah, he's like, he's fucking dead on air, bitch. Yeah. The legs that come into the frame during the film, was a crew person holding a sign that instructed what to do next, and she's like scared. And I'm like, what who is that? Well, during the film, and you're like, the head almost rolls off the roof, and the daughter like dives to catch it and throws it back. I was like, this is legit. But Rudy talked about the that last shot, so cool for her, like the actress doing, at the thing, you just see it go up, and it's like that's the end of the first film or whatever. And then from her perspective, she sees like over her shoulder, you see the whole crew, and they're all like, like kind of like trying to keep it together and smiling kind of. And it's like even the drunk guy and the guy that had the shits, and like even the guy that was above the director that was on site, like goes in to help and stuff. And it was like, dude, this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
And then the daughter hands her dad a picture of what was like when she was little, her on his shoulders, and it's like the same thing happened at the end of the film. And I was like, nice.
Yeah, it was great moment.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit.
But I also loved during the end credits where they showed like the crew behind the crew.
Yeah, it was like
cool thing
it was
to
like
show.
a making of the making.
That was like a cherry on top
Yeah.
of the sundae.
You were like,
why would I do that?
that's how you eat it.
Okay.
I'll give you a cherry sundae and you eat it on the thing, and you're like,
Turn into a human Yoshi.
you throw fire out. You're like, it's like, eh.
Yeah, if I drank the whole bottle.
Yeah, you'd be like, Austin Powers is that? I think it's 2 where they fucking do at the intro. They're like, and like the fire spitters for no reason. It's like, what? You're like, Mike's fucking dead, or he's a bird. Wait a tick, that means the podcast is mine. It's like, how would me being a bird give you the podcast? Like, if I was dead, maybe. Anyway, so yeah, that was
One Cut of the Dead.
Yeah.
Overall, a great movie, except for the
And a big
movie within
fucking
movie,
goose egg batch.
which sucked.
This fucking movie is shit. 0.
So I'll go 7.95 once again.
Hell yeah.
If you like movies, I mean, you should see this movie. Period.
Yeah, I think regardless, like, this is a film that, like, if you like movie, I wouldn't exactly be like if you like horror films, but like if you like the process. It's so weird because it's like on the cover, I mean, it's like someone smiling with a camera and they're zombies, so it's like, and it's, even if you don't know the twist, it's like it's a comedy, and when you're watching it, you're like, there's nothing really funny about this, so you have to think something else happens later on. So, when I was watching it and stuff like that, I knew that probably something was going to happen funny, but I never knew that there was that was going to happen. And I agree. Like, I think it's one of those things where, like, I wouldn't necessarily be like, hey, if you're into horror movies, watch this film, because I wouldn't be like, this wouldn't be in the top for zombie films, but like, definitely for like slice of life and like behind the scenes, I would definitely put it up there. I mean, especially it's even more, I think, like impressive for like the small amount of like because they had 30 minutes that's taken out for that film, and then the rest is dedicated to that, so it wasn't the whole movie.
37.
Right. 37 minutes
of torture
in heaven.
But we didn't mention one other. I really like the scenes of him like fighting for his vision.
Yeah. Because at first he just kind of bends over.
Right.
Or not really, but he says, yeah, that's fine. We can cut this out.
Those are some of my favorite scenes.
But it's also, I mean, more so, I mean, than that is when his daughter starts fighting for his, like, because they're going to shut it down at one point, because this is all live, and she kind of takes charge.
Press the kill button.
Yeah. And everybody starts to, be like, okay, we got to, like, cut this. And she's like, no. And she essentially, like, takes charge and, like, even above the guy that's above her dad. And she's like, make a decision. And he's like, yeah, just keep going. And it's like,
cool.
Yeah. It's like she has the makings of a director.
Yeah.
And someone in charge. And hopefully, which he makes, will become large. So yeah, I think for me, we have different opinions about the beginning, but I see from your point of view, because everybody has a point of view, by the way. I'll probably give this actually I won't probably, I will give this a 9.95.
Nice. I'm glad
I
you
really
liked
liked
it, man. Good stuff.
And it's definitely, I feel bad for people that I guess left after the first little bit. There's not...
That's on you.
Well, it's also one of those things where, like, I don't really do that anymore, where, like, I'll be watching a film and I'll just be like, fuck this, I'm out. Because it's like, you know, I have to see the whole thing, you know. I could see if it's, like, a video game and you're playing it and you're like, dude, this game... Like, most games are going to be at least 20 hours, even if it's on the short side. If you're not having fun within the first, like, couple hours, get the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like, I understand that. But, like, a movie, you know, at max, most times, it's only going to be a couple hours of your life. I mean,
I think the only time I've done it is, like,
I mean,
I'm not in the mood for this, I'll come back to it.
Yeah, I mean, like, there are times when I'll, for Frankenstein's Army, I think I watched it over 2 days, but it wasn't because I wasn't into it. It was just I was getting tired. Mm-hmm. And it's like... And all the Bond movies, I think there's...
Like, the screaming is lulling me to sleep.
Very...
Like... Actually, I wanted to tell that story because when I saw that in theaters, I was with my sister and brother-in-law.
And you fell asleep?
Well, he famously, like, sleeps through everything. Mm-hmm. And after the movie was over, he's like, I fell asleep through the whole thing. And I was like, how? That's impossible, dude.
You were screaming in his ear to wake up. Wake up! Wake the fuck up!
It was like the most assaultive experience.
Well, I used to fall asleep a lot. Like, I remember I came over. Okay, well, every day I fucking fall asleep, but like...
I fall asleep almost every single day. It's crazy. I fall asleep all the time, most nights.
What I mean is I used to not get enough sleep, and so I would come over here and we'd watch like a film, like we watched Broken Arrow, and I fucking fall asleep during that film, and I'm sure you were like, because I'm pretty sure you fucking noticed or whatever that I was over there like, you know, snoozing, but like, you know, that doesn't really happen these days, so it's one of those things where I can understand if, like, maybe someone is busy, they have, like, their work schedule and their home life is out of control and they barely get enough sleep. Like, you could fall asleep to something, but, like, I don't know where I was going with it. I don't know if I was trying to justify him falling asleep, but I don't know if I could fall asleep in a theater these days. Well, maybe I could if I was really... So, if I was fucking, like, I had just gone for, like, you know, one of my hour walks... and then I, like, did a bunch of, you know, work around the house and a bunch of other shit, and it was hot out, and then I went and saw something like fucking, like, you know, Murder on the Orient Express, and even though I love detective stuff, that might lull me into fucking, you know, because especially if the seats are, like, recliners and stuff like that, but most of the time I'm, like, ready to go and well rested for... You know, after you spend the money to fucking see a film, I'm ready to go.
I'm glad to hear that.
Because I want to see when the juice is loose.
I want to see what's on tap for next episode.
Okay. Well, I'm like, since we've already decided these...
What?
Or have we? So next week, prepare yourselves. There's a knock at the door, but should you answer it? Because it's unwelcome guest week.
Whoa.
We should have done house guest.
Dude, the scariest movie
really
of all.
Yeah, I was gonna say the scariest product placement of all.
So. Deck the grill with lots of meat. Put it on a bone.
Like,
eat. My favorite part of the whole movie.
Not the McDonald's commercial. So we have your pick, which is The Guest from 2014.
Nice.
Starring Dan Stevens, I think.
Yeah.
I think he was on
your boy
Downton Abbey.
I haven't seen that.
And he was in Night at the Museum 3.
And The Guest.
That's true. And then I think it was Let Me In. I can't remember which one I picked, because there's an original and then there's the remake.
Yeah. Well, which one did you mean to pick?
I can't remember now, that's the problem.
You picked Let Me In.
Which one's which?
The Let Me In's the remake.
Okay. That's the one with, like...
I haven't seen that one.
Okay.
I've only seen the original.
Okay. Who's in that remake? I'm sorry. I'm sorry to you, not him.
Cody Smith McPhee. Chloe Grace Moretz.
Okay. What year is that?
2010.
Okay.
And Richard Jenkins.
Yeah. It's Richard Jenkins.
Yeah.
It's
They
Richard
let
Jenkins the whole
people
time.
with 2 names in, as well as 3.
Fucking Richard Jenkins? That's like a scammer name. Like, hello, this is Richard Jenkins.
And Elias Koteas, Casey Jones himself.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What do you mean? You're not the Casey Jones from Turtles 2? Fucking Green Arrow himself playing a fucking shitty Casey Jones? What's his name? Stephen Amell?
I couldn't even tell you.
I think I just did. Like, fuck this. Let's just watch Supernatural. Okay.
And house guest it is.
No! So, next week, make sure not to answer the door unless you order DoorDash, because it might be an unwelcome guest.
Or it might be Buddy Shots.
Come to kill you.
Which is always welcome.
That's true.
Or is it?
Yeah, actually, okay, let's do that again. The only person next week on Unwelcome Guest Week that you should open the door for is Buddy Shots.
Bye.
Okay, I think, yes, this is experiment 9.95. And, well, I guess I should just get to it. Welcome to my secret lair on Buddy Shots Mountain. I hope you have enjoyed your stay so far. I see you met my assistant Vincent. His appearance is quite disturbing, but I assure you he's harmless enough. He's a cool dude, calls me Steak, and he has a way of finding awesome films and bringing them to us. Oh, and I'm so into you, but I'm way too smart for you. Even my co-host thinks I'm crazy, and I'm surprised that you agree. If you could find some way to be a little bit less afraid of me, you free the voices that control me from inside my head, saying I shouldn't kill you. Picture the two of us alone inside my golden submarine, while up above the waves my doomsday squad ignites the atmosphere. And a fool who lead their foolish lives may find it negative 9.5. Well, it won't mean half as much to me if I don't have you here. In a world where survival is scripted and the monsters of our nightmares are born in steel and smoke, we are reminded that reality and fiction often share the same blood-soaked floor. Here, in a warehouse where life and death dance on the edge of a director's cut, or the turning of a rusty gear, we find that the true horror is not in the creatures we face, but in the shadows we carry within. You just witnessed the mayhem of OneCutoftheDead and Frankenstein's army. Two tales trapped in a place far removed from the ordinary and closer to the unknown, a place we call the Buddy Expanse.